Welcome back, everybody, to the channel. Today, we're going to be breaking down Darnell Washington, tight end from Georgia. Going to be going over some film. First, we're going to take a look at his blocking prowess, and then we're going to get into kind of some of the things he does well as a receiver, and then additionally some things that he could potentially work on in order to hit his ceiling at the next level. Just before we get started, please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel for more content. All that stuff greatly helps me out. Leave a comment if there's other players as well that you want me to break down. All right, so first play here, we'll just kind of let this one run through. He's going to be in line, working to the play side. First thing that kind of stands out with Washington, man, like obviously the 6'6.5", 6'7" frame. He's 265 pounds. And, Georgia used him in a plethora of different ways. Basically, it seemed like their offense was almost, find number 0 and run his way. And good things seem to happen. Here he's working on a down block off this defensive end. This four tech here, he's able to get good position. He is a little bit high, but you see he's able to use his frame even on one leg and sustain this block and create that edge for that running back. We get an explosive run here. Don't worry about that penalty because that was a result of Broderick Jones getting an undercut here. But again, run his way. He's able to seal the edge for you, create an explosive run in the game. So here he's working kind of a little bit in the slot in a condensed split. Want to show this one just because of the amount of displacement that he gets on this defensive end, takes him off of his feet to create another 8 to 10 yard run. Kind of rewind this one again. So again, this guy's playing kind of a 3-tech. Ends up getting low, just into his shoulder. And watch this dude. This dude is off the ground. He's on one foot and he's running into another one of his own players. So you talk about taking two guys out kind of with one block. Running back's able to set his blocks up on the perimeter. Again, we get another nice run. This Florida game really seemed like, he was a vocal, primary part of their kind of offense, especially as it pertained to the blocking game. But here he's going to be working, you see another 4-tech. Down block working in line, creating that horizontal displacement. So this guy is going to basically be moved 2 gaps over by this double team between him and Broderick Jones. And then he's going to quickly, set his eyes to the next target. This weak side linebacker, safety type, is coming over. Again, like how he gets low here, plays a good pad level. He does lunge a little bit. You'd like to see him sustain this block a little bit better instead of coming off so quickly. But we do a good enough job to where, if you pause this right when he gets to that second level, this is an NFL hole. Any offensive line coach that can get this type of hole, you're going to like that. As a result, this running back could do a little bit better job setting this up, in my opinion. We get some guys that fall off some blocks as well. But overall, good job from Washington, climbing to the second level, taking out 2 guys in 1 rep. Again, just kind of running his direction, and he's going to seal the edge for you. And kind of wash this guy down to create another explosive run. So he's working kind of off the ball here. It's kind of an H-back or off-ball tight end. Going to be responsible for this 5-tech. Guy starts to slant inside. He's going to try to get low, run his feet. You see the amount of displacement that he's able to create. This guy starts as a 5-tech, and he basically ends up across the center on the other line, on the other side of the formation. And again, just look at this lane that he's got. This safety has no choice but to either step up in this gap to fill it, and this running back kind of sets him up, bounces to the outside. It's a really good play. I think that's Kenny McIntosh, a back that I really like in this class. Another explosive run. And again, some of the best runs that I kind of saw from him were, when he was given the chance to kind of insert and just work downhill. I thought his technique was a little bit better. This is stuff that I really want to see more of from him at the next level. Does a good job fitting this up. His right hand is outside, but I like how he gets his left hand up inside tight to the defender, is able to kind of control and sustain this block throughout the rep. He's got like a 86-inch wingspan or something like that. 34.5-inch arms roundabout. So he's able to kind of guide, steer, control, and basically engulf these defenders at the point of attack with his length and wingspan. So just extremely impressive physical specimen. They used him a lot on the perimeter as well to kind of set the edge, use his straight line speed, his athleticism to get out in space. See, he's pulling around the side here. This is not the sight that you want to see if you're a boundary cornerback. You're a cornerback, you're, 6 foot. I think this is actually a bigger cornerback. He's like 6'2", 200 something, but you get a 6'7", 265 guy coming your way. Just look how he drives him backwards like 10 yards. He does kind of sling him down, I think, by his helmet here at the very end of the play. But that cornerback's a complete non-factor in the play, and we get about 8 to 10 yards out of that. Georgia also did some creative stuff with him as a blocker, not just in the run game, but in the pass blocking department. And this is something that, is a minor detail in terms of what he's going to be asked to do at the next level. But a lot of these Shanahan, McVay type schemes, they like to run some of these play action looks and have their tight ends either double on an edge defender or sometimes even have to take them on one. Again, you see his hand placement kind of be a little bit erratic here. He's kind of bear hugging this guy, but I do like how he refits his hands. He gets that left hand underneath on the breastplate, kind of sustains this block. Even though he's a little bit high here at times, he's still able to anchor down and give his quarterback plenty of time to make this throw to Brock Bowers across the field, which creates another explosive play. And this is a slow developing play too. Like we get one fake to the back, one fake to the receiver coming around behind him, and that orbit motion kind of action. And then that's the thing. Like he wasn't featured a ton in the passing game just because they had Brock Bowers, and that's his role was more of a run blocker. But some of the things he was asked to do in this offense are really difficult tasks, which I don't want to go kind of underappreciated just in terms of his projection. Some of the things that he's already shown the capability to do. Here, I'm not really sure what kind of slide or protection we're running. In my opinion, I don't really love trying to get, especially in a 4-down front with no obvious blitzers. Don't like the full slide here because we end up with this right tackle not blocking anybody, and you've got a one-on-one tight end with this kind of 5 tech here. But, he does a good job refitting his hands. Initially his hand placement, you'll notice on a lot of his blocks, whether run blocking or pass blocking, are way too wide, but does refit his hands eventually. He's trying to play with good leverage, getting low, trying to anchor down. This is not, a perfect pass pro, teach tape or anything like that. But, we get a guy that is a tight end blocking, number 9 here is going to be probably a top 50 pick in the NFL draft. Gervon Dexter, really good athlete, has some strength and power to him as well. And we're basically setting him out on an island here. And, he's holding up long enough to where we can get this flea flicker to kind of play out. Nothing's really open down the field, but you can kind of see just some of the competitiveness that he has as well. Like I just love the temperament that he plays with. I think he really invests a lot of his energy into making sure his teammates have, the best of opportunities, and that's something that I really appreciate. One of the things that I really like about his game too is his ability to operate as the point man in bunch sets or out on the perimeter on screens. This is where you really see his length kind of come up against these smaller, shorter defenders. He can easily engulf these guys and kind of just guide them wherever he wants them to go. They run a little flare screen here. Just watch how he sustains this block for so long. And this guy's really a non-factor, not able to get off the block, and we get a first down 10, 12 yards down the field. So awesome rep by him there. Now we're going to get into some of the stuff that he does well as a receiver. He's not the most complete receiver, and I don't think anyone would be willing to tell you that just in terms of some of the stuff that he's been asked to do, or in my opinion, can do at a high level. But Georgia did a good job at times getting him out in space on the perimeter, some flat routes, get him the opportunity to catch the ball out in space. He's 265 pounds. These smaller defensive backs are not going to be able to tackle him without giving up yards after contact. Easily shrug this guy off. Vertical leap. What a hurdle. This dude's 6'7", 265, jumps right over this tackle here on the sideline, able to, stay on his feet, continue to drive his feet for a huge explosive play. Working him in the flats is definitely an area that he can already do. Really like this play as well. Working a little bit of a wheel route here. Some nuance here. He's not the most gifted route runner. He's never going to be a high tier route runner just because he's a little bit clunky, in my opinion, when he's asked to change directions. But I do like, trying to sell this flat route with the head fake, easily working up the field. He's going to play through contact. Like these guys, like there's not going to be anyone on the field that's bigger than him that's going to be asked to cover him. Good job playing through the contact. We get a back shoulder throw, shows a little body control. And then, being an athlete and showing some fluidity, able to contort his body around towards the sideline, stiff arm the guy that's already on top of us. Again, tries to hurdle another defender for another explosive play. He's really asked to do three things. Really, it's a lot of flats, a lot of crossers, and then work up the seam. And when you get a target like this, I don't know that he needs to jump for this ball. He kind of does that out of, I guess, habit. But working up the seam, this gives the quarterback, a huge target uh, to hit this ball. And I mean, obviously, this is wide open, but just kind of shows a little bit of, some of the things that he can add up the seam as well. Again, makes this first defender miss after the catch, spinning around. I mean, he's a really good athlete, man, for the type of build that he has. He maximizes his abilities, in my opinion. Now, to get to some of the things I think that he could do a little bit better of, he's not the most naturally gifted receiver. I think he's a little bit clunky as a route runner, and I'm not sure that that'll ever change. But I do think that as a receiver, he should continue to work on his hands. You see him just trying to run this little sit route, little hitch route. Looks like he's the first read for Bennett. Watch his hands kind of clap at this ball. You really want to bring your hands up and together instead of clapping. This is why he's a little bit susceptible to drops. Just in the film that I watch, I don't think he was charged with that many, but he also didn't get that many targets. But I thought his catch technique, even on the catches that he had, would sometimes feature him clapping at the ball, which is poor technique. So, want to see him, improve on his hands, improve on some of those things to make him a better weapon as a receiver. And then just as a blocker, I've seen this on highlight tapes, this specific play, and I wanted to point this one out. I don't think that he's going to be able to get away with this at the next level, just because NFL refs, like, they're going to notice this kind of stuff more. He's a hard guy to officiate because he's so much bigger, so much stronger than everyone he's playing against. And at the college level, he was able to just overpower guys instead of using good blocking technique. And he is a good blocker. But he could turn into like an exceptional blocker if he would learn to be a little bit more technically refined, especially with his hands. You'll see on this play right here, he ends up getting his left hand around this dude's shoulder pad, almost just bear hugging him, and then just kind of shoves him down. I'm not sure that those plays are going to go uncalled at the next level. You'd really like to see him just kind of drive his feet and get his hands tightened inside, because this guy's not going to make the play anyway. He's a lot smaller than Washington. He's not going to be able to run through him under any circumstance. So just some minor stuff that I want to see him improve on. I think that Washington offers you a really nice tight end two floor. Where you take a guy like that, I think, is just a matter of your evaluation process. He's going to be an immediately impactful blocker, in my opinion, especially if he continues to fine tune some of his hands and overall technique. He could play with a little better leverage as well, but being 6'7" is going to naturally preclude him from ever being great in that department. He offers probably a Mercedes Lewis kind of skill set in terms of he's probably never going to be a dynamic receiving threat, but I do think that he offers you enough in the blocking department to stick around the league for a really long time. And as a receiver, I think he could potentially grow into more of like a complementary piece in an offense as well. If you get the ball in space to him, he can break tackles. He can create those hidden yards after the catch. You can work him up the seam. He's shown some ability to make contact contact catches, combative catches with the ball in the air. We just haven't seen a lot from him in terms of what he's been asked to do as a receiver. His route tree was really limited. His usage was really limited. So until we see more of a sample size, I'm not really sure what the ceiling is there, but I still think as a blocker, he offers you enough to take somewhere on day 2, probably in the second round. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys for sticking around for me. If y'all will, just on your way out, please make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Drop me a comment on what you thought of the video, what you think of Darnell Washington, and then some other players that you guys might want me to break down as we're just a little over a week away from the 2023 NFL draft class. Appreciate you guys. Peace.